Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming to this event. I hope it will be something that is enriching and you can take away something. I'm no HR expert. I have an eminent panel of speakers who are going to discuss various aspects of performance management right after me. But I thought I'll set the context a little bit and share some thoughts on potentially how we look at performance management in a new context, in the new world. So here we go. So what is the context that I'm talking about? We are no more in a world where there is only one office. Everything is distributed. You have offices that are all over, companies that are going global. Small companies that started a few months ago are going global with tens of locations, maybe even tens of countries, thousands of employees all over the place. Similarly, products are no more once a year launch, once a quarter launch. Your product launches are much faster. So you're getting something new maybe every few days, every week, and so on. The services and products offered by companies are getting more complex than ever. So for example, if you take just a shoe retailer, a shoe is no more your size and color. It's got a million high-tech features, gizmos, everything. And someone selling that shoe in 500 plus stores has to know everything about that shoe. They have to be able to explain and justify why you have to spend 5,000 or more on that particular shoe. And it's not just that. We have, gone are the days when there were 3 competitors. There's so many competitors. So a customer walking in the store asks, can you compare this with all the other models that are out there? And if you are the HR head of one of those retailers, you're breaking your head, how do I train thousands of these employees across 500 or many stores? They say in India it's a few hundred stores. In places like China it's like you're talking 10,000 stores. And that's the context that I want to set today. The scale, the speed, and the complexity in which things are moving is an order of magnitude more than maybe what it was even a decade ago. And obviously a huge nightmare. I'm not even going to other things like attrition and difficulty of hiring and the employability, readiness of freshers and so on. So there's a whole lot of other headaches bad enough for HR and the team to manage. So in this world with such fast-moving and complex things, how can we effectively address the issue of performance management? So as I said, I'm no HR expert, but I'm trying to simplify it for the audience today. Broadly, all of us want to create high-performance teams. So as an HR, if your team is a high-performance team, well-trained, well-equipped, then your job is pretty much done. Now, how do we do that? First, to understand where our team stands, how knowledgeable they are, and what are the gaps, you have to be able to effectively measure that. And we all dread our annual performance reviews. Not the people who are being measured, but even the people who are doing it as HR. It's usually a pain, and a lot of things happen in the last minute, and people are just checking boxes. So are we doing effective measurement, and that too only once a year? We all know what the challenges are. The second is, okay, once we measure and identify the gaps and need, how do we improve that? And that goes to training and learning aspects of it. And I keep asking myself, so the simple thing that maybe we should solve is, how do you ensure that everyone in the organization knows what they are supposed to know? So-and-so is a support person, so-and-so is in development, so-and-so is in sales. Now there must be 50, 60, 100 things that each of those people, depending upon their role, need to know. And yes, we can arrange training, we can give material, we can do all of that, but often we fall short of that. I mean, we're lucky if they know 50% of what they're supposed to know. And it gets more interesting because the list of things that they're supposed to know, if today it's these 50 things, tomorrow that's changing. New things are being added every day and other things are getting obsolete. So it's highly, highly dynamic. And how do you traditional model is, okay, you have your new employee orientation, you have your annual training, and maybe quarterly sessions and mandatory hours and so on. But clearly that is inadequate. And it's not easy, we all know that, except that there has been really no easy way out of it. And then coupled with the inertia of people, no one is really interested to attend. You take all the effort, get an expert trainer from somewhere, arrange a 3-day training or even a half-a-day training session, and you're struggling to get people in to fill the room in spite of spending time and money, all of that. So going back to how do you make sure that you're able to measure the knowledge level of individual or the organization, and how can we improve it? The key thing is that our traditional model, as I said, of annual and periodic training and reviews is insufficient, and we need to get into a mode of doing this almost as part of our day-to-day activity. It's not like scheduling a separate training. First of all, no one has time to attend training. No one has time to prepare content. And by the time you prepare content, it's already outdated, the next model has come. So in that context, we want to make sure that training happens real time and almost every day. Learning rather than training, I would say. And the second important part is it should be engaging. Now, no one wants to read a brochure or a manual or a document. In this generation, especially if you're talking about the younger generation, they're used to the YouTube experience, they're used to the multimedia experience. Nobody wants to read a document or a manual. So it has to be engaging, it has to be interactive, and something more interesting than a document.